Last orders at the bar.
It's a A night in with Mauler and the drinker, getting trashed with the web's free thinkers. A cheap night cause I'm feeling kinda thrifty, got a 10-pack of beers and a bottle of whiskey. Hop up the cork, have a glass of wine, I'll say, it'll be fine. Trouble walking in a straight line, but pour me a Pinot Noir. It's open bar with our hosts, Mauler and the critical drinker.
Well, hello. We're back.
Hello.
Welcome, everyone.
What a fun
Dead air.
night.
We probably should have rehearsed this a little bit better in advance, but there we go. That's how we do things on the open bar. It's always unplanned, unscripted, and completely uncouth. That's how we like to practice it. But anyway, well, here we are, and it's last orders at the bar for the super chats that everyone was kind enough to send us on the night. So I guess we're going to do our best to try and answer them for you right here and now. So the first one that we've got here on the list is from Taker610, who says the Tom Bombadil song at the end of episode 4. Absolute banger, that one.
Oh,
yeah. Loved it. Did it fit with the theme of the show, Mauler? Did you like it?
4 was a bit weird for me because I needed to see it before Open Bar started. And then I was like, I think I watched it. Did I remember it all? I think I did. I just started like skimming through images. And I was like, fuck me, this show. It's hard, okay? It's hard to remember and take it all in.
Did I really experience that, or was it some mad hallucination? You'll never know.
It's just crazy that we're halfway through it already. Like, look at that.
I know. I kind of feel like nothing's really happened. It's a weird one. But then, like, yeah, if I probably was to play back all the episodes, like, oh yeah, stuff did happen. It's just it was so boring and stupid that I've blanked it out.
It happens.
Big Hat Legion says, Drinker, I forgot. Mauler, what? Drinker, the Acolyte's been cancelled. Mauler, oh no. Anyway, we're doing our best to bring it back, though. We're really going to bat for this show. I want it back. I want the Acolyte to get like 5 more seasons. It's just pure gold.
Yeah.
Pentist Pooley says, how is it possible that my Chaos Dwarf campaigning in Total War is more canonically accurate to Mr. Tolkien's work than this cumrag of a show? Well, that's because you actually cared about what you were doing, unlike these people. Yeah, this show is just amazing. Social Morlock. Dear Drinker, Mauler, and crew, per last week's Danny Houston conversation, any thoughts on The Proposition 2005? Ray Winston, Guy Pearce, and John Hurt. Ooh, The Proposition.
No, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, not too familiar with it myself, but it's always nice to see Danny Houston in roles. I like him as a villain. He's good at that stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen The Proposition, I'm afraid.
Yes, crazy cast, though.
Yeah, that's good.
David Wenham, John Hurt, Ray Winston, Guy Pearce, Danny Houston. Yeah. Neat.
Angel Fire. Christ, that's a blast from the past. That's like a web hosting service from like the 90s. Have any of you seen Alien Earth coming in 2025 on Hulu? Supposedly a TV show that's set 30 years before Alien. My God, they just can't stop. Oh, I just, no, please. Just don't give us this stuff. I don't want any more prequels. Doesn't that put it in the same ballpark as Prometheus, actually, if it's like 30 years before? I lose my track.
Timeline. I don't know. I'm just tired.
Just so tired. Please make it stop. RRTNZ. Chuck Norris can create $1 billion profit making a shared superhero universe movie franchise with a 30-second cameo. Also, Chuck Norris would approve of a Drinker recommends for Dodgeball. Cheers. I do heartily recommend Dodgeball. It's excellent. And who knows, you might just get to see us cover it one day on EFAP movies. Stranger things have happened.
Apparently, Timothy Oliphant's going to be in that Alien show.
Oh,
well,
don't do it, Timothy.
We'll see. Maybe it'll be really good.
I mean, yeah, sure. That's what we said about Romulus. Captain Bucky O'Hare. I fucking loved that cartoon from back in the day, and it had an absolute banging theme tune. It was good stuff. It was a great privilege to grow up in the 90s as a kid. Anyway, he says, this is my first ever super chat, so I'll get straight to the point. In Fellowship of the Ring, Boromir has 26 minutes of screen time. In Rings of Power, Galadriel and Halbrand are approaching 6 hours of screen time. This should be studied. Yeah, it's interesting stuff, isn't it? I know who made the better impression on me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that Boromir guy was pretty neat.
He was a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Cutts. Jenna Ortega's latest statement on how female-led films should be done just proves how much smarter she is than people twice her age in Hollywood. Yeah, man, she's a good one. I feel like at a certain point, someone's going to have a word with her and she's just going to start spouting the same crap as all the other Hollywood celebs. Probably when it's like she gets to like that real A-list level. At the moment, she's just like kind of freewheeling it and speaking her mind. But yeah, I respect her take on it. And it doesn't seem like an unreasonable one either. Like, hey, great to see female-led franchises and movies and stuff, but how about you give them their own that are purpose-made instead of just like, rewriting male characters into females, because that doesn't really help anyone. It's crazy, I know, but she hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, I think it would all work out much better if you had a bunch of original female characters that were top-notch. I mean, that's what we were doing at one point. It was working out pretty well. A lot of famously beloved female characters, but then we had a different idea that's been not working out at all. But we'll see.
I feel like Hollywood had a collective like brain hemorrhage or something, and then this is the result. Like we've been dealing with the aftermath for the past 10 years. Jordan Pendragon says 2010, that sad, fateful year when Movie Gallery, Blockbuster, and Hollywood Video all filed for bankruptcy and permanently closed. Oh, was that 2010? End of an era.
So. Yeah.
Snacks says, Mauler, for Star Wars, there was Schlurpo. For Rings of Power, what should we call the Sauron splooge?
I don't know. You need chat for that one, right? They come up with the best shit. So
they usually do. I'll check the comments after this. Crave the Bad Guy says, what would everyone on the panel say is their most hated film of all time? Mauler doesn't have to answer since we all know it's Multiverse of Madness. Well, we don't have the rest of the panel here, but like you are free to change your answer if you've got another more hated film.
Hated is complicated. TLJ is in the running for that shit.
I think so, yeah.
Like a film that pisses me off the more and more I think about it. There's a lot of those, but which one is the king of that? It's like, well, that's a hard question to answer.
The thing is, right, I'm less inclined to hate a movie just for sort of technical incompetency, because it's like, well, you tried your best. Yeah. It was like a film done with good intentions. You just didn't have the skill to realize it. But I think TLJ doesn't have that excuse. It is the opposite of that. It was a film made with the worst of intentions, and I think that, for me, is the more egregious crime.
Yeah, so, I mean, Dial of Destiny I quite hate. I got a decent amount of hatred for, like, anything that Secret Invasion I fucking hated. That was a mess. I'm so happy I didn't watch that. It's anything that's like the intentions are so fucking obvious in terms of how they're trying to destroy shit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, like that's actually pissing me off. As opposed to, as you mentioned, some B movie where a guy is like, my werewolf costume is just me. I cut my hair and glued it to my body. Like, whatever. That's kind of funny. And I think, it might be easy to ridicule movies like the Marvels as well, like absolute box office disaster. But then it's kind of widely accepted that it was shit, and so there's no battle to fight there. It's just like, no, that film really just kind of got what it deserved, and so didn't hate the Marvels, it's kind of, well, I think we all just laughed at it collectively. But yeah, I think TLJ might be up there really. Darth Maul's lower half says, subscribe to Jay. Never mind. Okay. Lord Vulcan says, where's Space Ice? He was there the whole time. Yeah. Chris M says, Stones can't look up. Big Al says so. Nice mashup there. I like that. LW says, every time I hear the song Planet Zero by Shinedown, it reminds me of the cultural commentary on these panels. If you haven't yet, give it a listen. All right. Thank you. Johnny Tightlips ain't saying nothing, as always. 427 Arbok says, movie idea. Boogie from the one alternate universe where he's actually a wholesome good dude makes a grave error, and to atone, he must go on a universe-hopping quest to punish his other selves. I could get behind that, yeah. Yeah. I like the idea, say, like a Boogie in an alternate universe who's
wholesome and nice guy, and he's in great shape. Like he's really like, you know, turned his life around. And he has to fight like an army of fat, horrible, like disgusting boogies, which is probably all of them really. And like, you know, reclaim the boogiedom, the boogieverse.
Well, you could have like the sad ending with the good boogie. He like swore off ever trying any fast food his whole life, and then one of the bad boogies forces a burger down his mouth, and he's like, he gets a taste for it, and it's like, no.
Or like he has to drink like Mountain Dew to power up for his final fight. It's like,
Yeah,
I know this will kill me, but
his loved ones are drowning in Mountain Dew. The only way to save them is to drink as much of it as he can.
I'm thinking about that bit in Logan, you know, where he overdoses on the serum and he becomes super powerful for like 3 minutes. And it's like, you drank all the Mountain Dew. It's wearing off now.
Yeah. Yeah, the idea is there, Hollywood.
Yeah. Stefan says, is there any channel like yours with video games? Well, funny you should mention that. There is the Critical Gamer, where I've resumed posting. It's weird, like, you know, between the main channel and then After Hours and then the third one, it's like my attention is split in a lot of different places. But I really want to make more video game content because I really enjoy it. I find it quite rewarding to review games.
It's that problem. You need to clone yourself and set them all to the like movie drinker, TV show drinker,
yeah,
gaming drinker.
It is, it is annoying, and I think when you got lots of competing priorities, like in some ways, like the smallest channel kind of suffers the most because it's just, you know, it's the one that sort of has to take a back seat occasionally. But yeah, I want to get back into that. Mr. Taco Boutique says, so about that George R.R. Martin post, for it to get so bad, he'd risk legal action by spoiling season 3. Sheesh. Also, Arcane season 2 looks awesome. Yes, it does, and we're very excited about it here.
God, I hope it's good. So many people I know are so excited for it. It just reminds me of how much of an impact season 1's had, not just when it came out, but like over time as well.
Yeah. No, it feels like a show that has like a reputation probably has grown over the years, and partly I suppose because like it was a bit of a sleeper hit at first. Like I don't get the impression it like burst onto the scene and everyone was raving about it. It grew over time.
Yeah, I think it almost it almost had to fight its own reputation a little bit. Like it comes out, and I think the people who would have watched it instantly were probably like, "Wow, that was good." And then over time, like, wait, I think that was great, actually. Hang on.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what did I do? And then, of course, yeah, it was, if I remember my history, is you combined with a few other people telling me that you should be fucking watching this. And I was like, there's League of Legends.
Yeah.
I like League of Legends back in the day, but I don't know about that. And yeah, because it's hard to remember. It was just a vibe of like, that's neat that they're making that anyway.
Yeah, because sometimes the games don't lend themselves to the idea of a TV show. Like when someone said like, "Oh, they're making a Last of Us TV show," it's like, okay, well, I can totally get that. Like it's a very strong narrative based game with a very cinematic vibe to it. Like that's going to translate easily. Something like League of Legends, it's like, well, it's an online battle arena game. Like, how the fuck do you turn this into a narrative that everyone's going to appreciate? And it's like, yeah, they've obviously found the way to do it, but like you say, I think it had to fight against its own reputation and its own origins to get people to recognize it for what it is. I'm just kind of glad that it has. Hopefully season 2 makes a big splash when it hits. Arkham Reaver says, we need to start a petition to make Tipples the Clown a playable killer in Dead by Daylight. Tipples!
There'd be legal issues, unfortunately, but yes.
Teeny Bopper. Hey, Drinker, happy that you're attending Grand Rapids Comic-Con. Yes, so am I. I suggest giving them a better picture for the website. What are your favorite types of beer? I work at a local brewery. Would love to give you a gift. Oh, thanks, man. And yeah, I actually gave them a couple of pictures, and I don't think they used any of them, so that's interesting. They picked like a fucking screen cap from a live stream that I did like 4 years ago or something. I look completely different. It's like when my old office setup was there, where it was always dark in the background, so not sure why they picked that, but hey ho. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be at Grand Rapids Comic Con in November. Very much looking forward to it. Who knows? I might meet up with Gary as well while I'm there. But yeah, in terms of my favorite beers, well, I'll take a lager or an IPA. Really, I'm pretty flexible about what I drink. Most beers are pretty good to me. So yeah, whatever you fancy, man. I will. I'm told that Grand Rapids is actually really good for beers and stuff, and like there's quite a lot of local breweries. So I'm going to put that to the test when I'm there. Looking forward to it. Jordan Pendragon. An open bar a couple of weeks ago, I remember Jimmy Dantes recommending Dragon's Milk Stout when you visit Grand Rapids. I second this suggestion. Good stuff. Okay. I mean, I'm not generally a huge stout drinker, but, you know, I've been known to have Guinness on occasions, so I'll give it a try. Axel's Abode. Rings of Power is just one stupid decision after the other. Agreed.
Yeah.
Problematic Pixels. I've done a few animated parodies of Rings of Power, but honestly, I could do one for every scene. That's how bad it is. A complete travesty of a show. Yes. I mean, you're right.
Correct.
Lord Vulcan says, hail Space Ice. Hail to you, sir. It was great to have him on. Barry Francis. When they get to Open Bar 125, will they have to comment on what released in 1925? Top film, the latest by Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, well, we've discussed what to do when we catch up to ourselves, because that time is coming. I mean, it will be, it'll be 2025 by the time we actually get there. And then we're going to run out of years. So yeah, maybe we'll have to skip back. Who knows? Ours says, I also have a soft spot for Iron Man 2. I don't know why. Maybe it's just...
You know, there's stuff in it that's really good. I love the stuff with the dad.
Yeah, and it's just, you can tell that it's a pre-Disney movie. I think this was the last one before Disney bought over Marvel, and it's just got a different vibe to it. I don't know, there's, the whole thing just feels just a little bit more mature than what we got after that, and I miss that. And I'm always going to enjoy like an Iron Man-centric movie, you know, and
He's a fun guy.
Yeah. Honestly, I think if they'd had a better villain in it, it could have turned that movie around, because so much of it is lost on Whiplash, like one of the shittest villains ever. Which,
correct me if I'm wrong, but Mickey Rourke hated what they ended up with because they had great grand plans for his character that didn't manifest at all.
I think so, yeah. I think he started doing loads of weird things with the character as well, like where they didn't really know how to handle it. So yeah, he probably like. Was that?
I want my bird.
Exactly, yeah. Wasn't that like, yeah, almost ad-libbed or something? It was weird. And, like,
no,
Sam Rockwell was trying to like figure out what to do with it.
I don't know what I'd do with it. Okie dokie.
Yeah. Beta says, I had the strangest interaction yesterday. I actually met two lesbians who actually believed Acolyte was cancelled because it was queer. I chose not to believe them when they said they watched it. Yeah, I wouldn't believe them either. Esteban says, the delusions of one, the hubris of two, and the failure of many. That's what it comes down to. Robert Summers, speaking of girl bosses, saw on Off the Covers channel that Greta Gerwig is making an all-female Fight Club remake. Thoughts? I don't think that's true. I've never seen anything official about this. Let me just check.
If it's true, it's not going to go over well.
Well, what on earth could you draw from that? Like, the original is like, you know, men trying to reclaim their masculinity in a world that just fucking doesn't value it anymore, and like trying to find meaning in their life by beating the shit out of each other. Like, what exactly do women in the Western world in current day have to complain about, and what rage do they need to vent that could possibly make this work?
Wow, not even giving the movie a chance, Drinker, when it could be incredible. You could learn all about women.
Sure. So let's see. Yeah, it's officially classified as just a rumor here. Yeah, it was originally started as a rumor on X by Discussing Film. Yeah, this post is verifiably fake.
Oh.
So, okay, yeah, so it's not happening. Yeah, I think they're smart. Even they are smart enough not to try and do something like this. It would be absurd. Zach Ferretti, did you see the Minecraft movie trailer? Yes, for my sins.
God.
Fucking hell! Can we just get rid of Jack Black? He's in the Samuel L. Jackson phase of his career now, where it's just like he's taking on fucking anything.
Just go sit in the corner for a while, Jack. We'll call you in a decade or so.
Yeah, I like how he's at that point as well, where it's like, do you want to, do you want to shave? Do you want to get a haircut or anything? Change your clothes for this role? Nah, I'm just going to rock up as I am. Just go for it. All right, cool, Jack. We'll wire that $10 million to your bank account, no problem. Grant says Concord might be the biggest financial flop in video game history, even adjusted for inflation. Any interesting video game flops stick in your mind? I mean, generally I cover movie flops rather than video game ones, and I don't know if this is more of a modern phenomenon, gigantic failures like this, because it's an online first person shooter, and those are like relatively specialized. And yeah, this has been a special case, I think. I don't know if you've got any knowledge of other like huge flops in the video game world.
Oh, there's got to be so many. It's one of those things where it's like, can you give an example? And I'm like, fuck, why? It's just gonna blank out all of the like most famous big fuck ups. But it does feel like we're increasing over time more examples, and these are catastrophic failures. Like they'll have such a huge ripple effect for any of the companies that are behind any of them. Even like Lord of Ring Gollum, as isolated as that is, like it still had repercussions for the it's significant for a lot of people's jobs and everything. It's and it's you see posts about how like stop celebrating this, so many people suffer as a result of this, and it's like, well, wait, the whole idea is that it was the fault of the people who decided this was a good fucking idea. Like they should have known it would do this to people's jobs. You can't, like, when someone walks into a fucking grade that's about to go off, and you're just like, what a fucking idiot. It's like, yeah, but it's sad. It's like, well,
It's
sad. You know what I mean? You're like, sure, but like, I don't.
I've just got this image of a guy just like walking over a grenade, and everyone just like, oh, sad.
Well, it goes that company and all those people's livelihoods. And it's like I said, a lot of them will be able to move into different places, but it's just, I don't know what happened to the notion of, because we have it in games and movies, where's the big fat guy with the cigar who says, no, that idea will never work, we're not doing that? Like, where's that guy? Get him back.
Well, it seems like a real repudiation of the modern audience idea, and it's the same with the Acolyte, where they were convinced that like they insert all this stupid shit into their game or their TV show, like the modern audience will flock to it. That's been somehow ignored or silent up until this point. They're going to rise up and buy this thing by the millions. And of course they didn't. And it's like, well, the modern audience that you're so desperate to court doesn't even exist. There's just the audience that's been there the whole time. They haven't changed. You have. And the product you're trying to offer them now doesn't appeal to them. So they're not buying it, and you're going to go bankrupt. Congratulations, you've played yourself.
They'll discover it one way or another, because someone else will make the thing, or they will make the thing out of desperation, and then they'll be like, oh shit, people like the thing. I guess we'll make more of this thing.
I mean, it seems to be, correct me if I'm wrong, but like a lot of Eastern developers now are just like filling the gap. Like Stellar Blade or Black Myth Wukong or whatever. Like, these games are now being hugely successful, made by like Chinese, South Korean companies. And it's like, well, they're not bound by the same like stupid expectations and quotas and stuff of Western companies, and they produce games that people actually want, and they have fun with it. And they make loads of money.
Pieces of information that let us know they know more than they're letting on to. Because take, for example, all the fanfare and explosion of announcing Robert Downey Jr. is coming back, and will he be Tony Stark or will he be Victor Von Doom, and what is he going to mean? All this stuff. It's like, remember, they've had Ironheart completed now for ages. It's just waiting to be released, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares about it. They don't care about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's really funny to me that even they know. It's like, well, no one cares about Ironheart. They would care more about an alternate universe, Robert Downey Jr. playing a character he wasn't even. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, well, they know.
I think I now see these TV shows as like, instead of an asset that they can't wait to release, I see it as like some disaster that they have to manage one TV show at a time. And it's like, okay, we need to get Agatha Harkness out there, and overcome that disaster, and then like we'll try and get something good in between, and then we'll bring out Ironheart and like take the hit on that, and then we'll make up something else. Like that's what it is now. It's like you should just bite the bullet and just kill these shows. Like Agatha Harkness ain't going to help your brand. It's actively going to damage your brand. Ironheart is actively going to damage your brand. Just don't make them. And if you've already made them, then shit can them and take the tax write down on them.
which we're probably going to see the first example of that with Marvel eventually. I feel like Batgirl is not the end of that sort of thing happening. Nor
No.
the what ended up happening with that that film with like Roadrunner and everything. Like, did that end up falling apart or whatever? You remember it was going to be like shelved.
Which one are you thinking of? Sorry.
It's like I think the Coyotes suing Acme Industries or whatever for it's like kind of like a live action but also cartoon movie. It also got
Oh.
shelved for tax purposes, and then people tried to save it. I guess that ended up just dying completely.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
looked like
so.
it
I
would be
mean, I'd never even
interesting.
heard of that one.
Oh yeah, it was a big old controversy sort of around Batgirl as well because people didn't want that to happen again. To be honest with you, I think all of us at this point just want to see about Batgirl. Sorry, see what happened with that.
I honestly do. Like, especially what I've heard about it. Like, I actually think people will be surprised. I don't think they would come away from it thinking, "Holy shit, that was great." It'll be more just like, "Oh, this is a bit of a non-event, really. Like, it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. It was just kind of meh,
I
just a
want to see
middling sort of."
Brendan Fraser's Firefly. Is he played someone?
Firefly, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a few like rushes of him playing the role, and it's hard to gauge how good he would be. Like, I think they went for a sort of more human take on the character, whereas like he's not like an out and out villain. He's kind of got a motivation for doing what he's doing. And in some ways he's just he looks like a kind of average guy, I suppose. Like, he's kind of fat and like he's got a shaved head and stuff. Just looks like a fairly normal person. It's almost like when you take the mask off and the suit off him, all the mystique sort of vanishes. I guess maybe that's what they were going for.
Okay.
But again, it's it's just little glimpses I got when I got to see it. But oh well. Flozinen says, have you considered inviting YouTubers like Ryan George from Pitch Meeting or that guy from Honest Trailers? They might not be movie and TV critics, but they sure point out bad writing and plot holes. I mean, I'd be up for talking with them. I don't know if they do stuff like that. A lot of these channels that are like highly produced and highly scripted like that, they don't really do live streams.
Yeah.
They don't interact with other. It's a funny old like minefield, I suppose, like the YouTube landscape. Like, some people are just like super active and they'll happily talk with anyone. Others are just like in their own little bubble and they won't really move outside it. It just depends on the creator, I suppose. Master of Puppets said, Halo, if you had to say something positive about She-Hulk, Acolyte, and Rings of Power, what would it be? Gary, have you finished Arcane yet? And if so, what did you think of it? I think he's like halfway through, so he's making progress. We're slowly breaking him down.
Oh wait, well, yes, I'm looking forward to getting him through the full season, but saying something positive about all them, that's not very nice. to make us
She-Hulk, Acolyte, and Rings of Power. So
I got the Acolyte one. It'll be the acting for the lad who played Soul. He had a few moments where it was like, you know what, he's trying, and he probably believes in this project, which is, you almost want to pat him on the back. Like, all right.
Rings of Power, some of the visuals are nice. The Ents looked quite good, I thought. That's about all.
I like this is what Gary talks about, like the sort of portray. It's hard to say fully. I can't really defend the writing in a lot of ways, but the during the third, kind of like the vibe of the actor with the makeup and everything. And some of his lines, at least in season 1, I remember thinking, oh, you know what? That line is not as cringe as everything else. There you go.
Yeah.
So there's that. What was the other one?
She-Hulk?
Fucking hell.
I honestly don't think it's possible.
I
think that may be one of the most terrible products that's ever been shot out into the world.
I'm trying to think of literally anything. Is it?
There's not an episode that I watched that I enjoyed.
There's no performance that I was particularly impressed with. I despised the story. The special effects were horrendous. The editing was nothing like. There's nothing about it that was special. The obviously the lighting was horrible. The sets were nothing. Is all just, like, it's like what about it? There's got to be something. That's like. I mean, they kept the characters in focus a lot of the time.
Well done. You managed to point your cameras at the thing and take some footage. But
should we go with that? Yeah, that's pretty. That's a nice
yeah,
compliment.
that's good enough. Yeah, let's do it. Will Dreamer says, not sure how I never noticed before, but I love how your intro has Shad ready to get into a bar fight with a sword and full brigandine armor. I wouldn't bet on the guy with only a bottle. Well, you know, I got into a sword fight with Shad down in London when we had the fan meet up, and it was great fun. So, yeah, don't count me out. The Wolfram Heart says, yes, it's Space Ice. Rescue Dave Filoni's dog. Kevin O'Neill says, it's extra insulting that the people who think they know better than the source material have access to this astronomical budget. Yeah, I mean, they must have some fucking incredible pitching skills, like, to get this gig. Oni says, have any girlfriends or wives forced you to watch a chick flick that you secretly thought was good or at least kind of okay? Oh, God, now you're asking.
Well, so I had, when I was growing up, I saw a lot of films that I probably wouldn't have if not for having a sister who was interested in showing them to me. So, for example, Legally Blonde, I remember finding like entertaining. I haven't seen that in forever though. And stuff like Mean Girls, which Mean Girls is more, I think, acceptable for a lot of people because it's like there's some jokes in that film that are pretty fucking good.
I kind of remember it, yeah. Like Mean Girls, I think I watched like once or something, but like, yeah. There wasn't much to it. I'm sure my girlfriend made me watch Sliding Doors, which is like a kind of alternate reality thing. Like, you know, one little moment in your life can like totally change the path, and you get to see both versions play out. And I remember watching that, thinking that was actually okay. I quite like that idea.
Gwyneth Paltrow and
John Hannah.
That's the one, yeah. I was thinking of Guy from Mummy.
Yeah, Guy from the Mummy. Aside from that, yeah, like I never watched The Notebook because I know people always spunk over that, but I never really got.
I saw that. I remember liking it, but not thinking much of it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but does Titanic count? Because I feel like I watched that anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like a cultural level that everyone saw it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it for the romance necessarily, but like it's a romance movie, I suppose, romance disaster sort of film. So. Yeah, I like that. Superfly. That Minecraft movie looks trash. Agreed. They insult Steve twice in the trailer, call him a toolbag, and make him Jack Black. I think start a YouTube to fight this. I might start a YouTube to fight this. Yeah, go for it. I mean, it's kind of late in the game, really. Like, they've made the movie, but... yeah. Why make him Jack Black? Fucking hell. That guy will take any job these days. Archangel says, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to Drunk 3PO. Sure, go for it. The next one, I can't say the name because it's just a jumble of letters and numbers, but it says, Drinker, kudos for reviewing Life is Beautiful. My wife and I's first cinema outing as a couple. Ever since becoming a dad, I haven't been able to watch it, though. Even talking about it to someone puts a big lump in my throat. Yes, that movie hits pretty hard, but it's a good one. Definitely worth watching. Axiom Seraph says, in Terminator Zero, just once, I want the guy arguing with the AI to actually have a high opinion of humanity instead of treating the AI like God and agreeing with it. Okay, yeah. I mean, I suppose he knows that the AI has access to all of humanity's knowledge, and so it knows everything that we've done, all of our wars and conflicts and everything. So I don't think he can just appeal to its like inherent goodness of humanity because it's not going to agree with him, and he can't just lie to it because it'll know. So he has to try and come up with something else, like we've got the capacity to be better or whatever.
If I'm reading that message correctly, like it's something I kind of felt as well. Is say, for example, it would say, you know, humanity is like a cancer on the world, and every invention it ever makes, it'll weaponize immediately. And then he's like, "There's nothing." Like, you are absolutely correct. That sort of stuff. I'm like, well, you're a shit advocate for humanity if you're just going to say. That's the case. It's like, even if she's an all-knowing AI, you could still say something like, okay, but like, why do we weaponize? It's like for the acquisition of power, the interest of attack and defense, the nature of defending ourselves from utter annihilation, which is what any life form does. We're just the best at it. So, you know, like, why are you saying this? Like, it's some kind of horrible thing that humans do when we're the only ones with the capacity to be able to do it. And to be honest with you, we're the only ones that are impressive enough to do it.
Damn it, we're impressive.
I'd love some speeches like that so that she could be like, well, actually, humans suck. And it's like, actually, we made you, bitch. So
it's a tough one, though, when you need her to save your entire civilization. So Yeah, you kind of have to win her over rather than just yell at her.
I would have yelled.
Yeah.
I would have thrown cabbage at her.
God damn it, do what I want. Adrian Young says, first time watching live and first super chat. Always look forward to the open bar. I watched the documentary Never Surrender about the making of Galaxy Quest. I didn't realize that Tim Allen is a science fiction geek. I think that'd be quite good to watch, actually. I've never seen that one. I get the impression that they actually had a lot of fun making that movie. I could be wrong, but...
Fuck yeah, they must have. I'd hope so.
Yeah. John the Man Good says, Drinker, now that Grums is there, you need to watch...
No.
What?
James Earl Jones has died.
Ah,
93.
fuck. I mean, he was a fair age. God damn.
What a voice. What a legend.
Yeah. He'll always be Thulsa Doom for me from Conan the Barbarian.
I mean, that's totally fair. Obviously, I can't separate him from Vader. He's just...
No, I get it. I was just joking around a little bit, but yeah. Incredible voice and just a great acting talent. And
he's all over the place with a certain era of movies. He was in such high demand, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, apparently when oh god, how is it he first got started? He was discovered, like his first major film role was in Doctor Strangelove, right? And I think the reason he got cast is he was in a Broadway play with the actor Slim Pickens, who was going to be in the sort of B-52 bomber crew with him. And he basically, like, Stanley Kubrick picked Slim Pickens to be the pilot. And he saw James Earl Jones and he's like, oh, you've got quite a good look about you as well. You can be one of the crew. And just like grabbed him. And that was his first role. That essentially got him started in Hollywood movies. We might never have got him if he hadn't just been in that play at the same time. Weird, but yeah, man, that's a real sad loss. Yeah, Drinker, now that Grums is there, you need to watch a video called We Need to Talk About Concord by Sungrand Studios. It's the best way to discuss about gaming and media. Ooh, okay, I'll take a look at that. Lord Botha says, how angry do you think Az was that he wasn't on the list of rewriting Ripley? On a serious note, yeah, I'm not on it either. I'm gutted, actually. On a serious note, respectfully, Grums, why did you demand McDizzle's personal info before talking to him? I don't know about that one. I'm not sure what the context is that one is there. The Halogen says, thanks for the great content. A movie to consider for extra shots. Look Who's Back. A very intelligent and partly improvised German comedy about the big bad AH reviving in 2018. A fantastic movie. I've seen little clips from that, actually. Yeah, does he not like try and hook up with like neo-Nazis and stuff, and then he's like disappointed in them? Yeah, it's interesting grounds for a comedy, I suppose. Screwball Sector says Shamdalf. That's a good name for it. Saint Cimmerian says, great stream and panel. Love seeing Space Ice on here. Question for everyone. Which do you prefer, Big Trouble in Little China or Escape from New York? Both good movies, but Big Trouble gets my vote. It's more fun.
I'm not actually sure which I prefer. I kind of love them both.
Yeah. I mean, Escape's obviously a much more serious movie and it's a bit more dour and stuff. And I don't know, man. I think Big Trouble's just got more entertainment value to it. Ran out of channel names says, I love how Gandalf said the nameless things dwell so far below Arda that not even the dwarves have chanced upon them. Turns out they're not that deep after all. Yeah. That's what happens when you repurpose dialogue with no context or meaning behind it. Mario says, I'm a student that wrote a dissertation, Disney Star Wars. Does Echo remember my DM about it and still want to read it? P.S. My dream is to be on the bar. Well, who knows? Maybe one day you will be. I'm not sure if Echo's seen your DM, unfortunately. But yeah, I can try and remind him. Purple Thighs says, just go see the movie. Your boy Hack. Good luck. All right. Has he got more pearls of wisdom for us, is he? Adonijah says, for the panel, which of Drinker's go away now do you like the most? His angry ones, his apathetic ones, or his depressed ones? I'm sorry, you're just going to have to answer for everyone, Moller.
So, like, which do I prefer? Like, Do you want to ask it again? Just to be clear on how I'm choosing this, how I'm separating this out.
So it doesn't really give context for why you would like it. Just which one do you prefer? I don't know. Which do you find more amusing or like easier to listen to or whatever? So which go away now do you like? If I'm angry, apathetic, or depressed, or
the
happy?
big old thing about it that's fun is, and I think I saw a comment on this, and I was like, you know what's so true is a lot of the time you can tell your general emotional feeling about the film from the way that you do that at the end. So
Yeah.
like, it's not about a particular favorite one. It's I listen to it and then I can read from it. You know, like, so what I guess I'm saying is like I like it in concept because it tells me things. I don't have a preference of how it's delivered necessarily because I like myself have different things in my videos where I will deliver it super angrily or super depressed or super whatever, and they all have their own power level. You know, they're all suitable.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there was one I remember doing, and I can't remember the movie specifically, but like for some reason I got kind of choked up doing it, and it just like my voice kind of almost wavered a bit as I was doing the sign off, and I was like, "Shit, should I re-record that?" Because it felt a bit unprofessional. But then I was like, "I don't know, man. It feels like it's just honest. I suppose that's how I felt at the time."
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to just, I don't know. It's nice to remind people that I'm still a human being behind all this, you know?
Behind all the alcohol.
Yeah. Marked Ashmad says, before the female custodies in the tithes, I caught one Space Marine called another one cousin. Battle Brothers is a no-no. Combat Cousins is gender neutral. Yeah, they should really call each other brother. I think it's that combination of Battle Brothers and they're kind of warrior monks. So, yeah, that's why they call each other brother. And they're supposed to be all men as well. Joe Effler says, can anyone imagine how hopeless it would be for Drax the Destroyer to try to navigate these horrendous metaphors? That'd be tough, actually. Marky Mark. The DCEU was crap, but it had a few cool scenes, like Bruce driving through Metropolis as it's destroyed by Superman and Zod. I can't think of any cool scenes from post-Endgame Marvel or Disney Star Wars. Can you guys? Nope. Straight up can't.
No, and I do, like, I enjoy that attempt. There's some things in Batman vs Superman that clearly show potential, like the idea of a Bruce Wayne watching the whole city get destroyed by these aliens who are having this huge fight. Like, there's definitely something there.
Yeah, I think so. There's, like you say, there's kernels of good ideas. There's something, I don't know, man. Like, I think maybe Zach was trying for that thing they were hinting at before in the Terminator Zero discussion about the sort of goodness or the nobility of mankind. You know, this idea that Bruce Wayne is willing to stand up to Superman and take him on. Like that moment where he's like hit him with the kryptonite grenade or something. And Superman takes a swing at him and he doesn't even flinch. It's like this could be completely wrong and he could fucking obliterate you in a heartbeat if you didn't, if this didn't work out the way you thought, but you're willing to stand your ground anyway. Like that's kind of cool. Little ideas like that, man versus God. It's pretty cool stuff, but it's just wrapped up in a horrendously shit plot.
Yeah.
Chikara says, Space Ice, do this. I'll try and do it since he's not here. Super mega blockbuster movie. There you go. Patrick Mulligan says, bring drunk 3PO on. Whenever you mention Avatar, you always ask who is the audience. Apparently, he's a big Avatar fan. Can he answer your question? We could bring him on and mock him, I think. It's the right thing to do. John Gates. They have twisted the lore as Boogie's mom twists tipples, and though one may bear the milk of ratings for such tipples, they shall find the taste as undernourishing and poisonous as Diet Mountain Dew. I am writing season 3 of Rings of Power, by the way. Yeah, I can totally buy that.
Yeah, we can tell.
Those are better metaphors than what we got in the show. Marky Mark. I went whale watching last week. Saw a decent amount of whales. I couldn't see where Mauler lives, though. I'm starting to doubt where he's from.
Well, I'm not always there. Dimension hopping as it is.
Yeah. Mitch says, I only found out last year that there's a new Hellboy movie out this year, and why couldn't we have got a live-action Terminator Zero instead of Dark Fate? And that is the question. Yeah, I didn't know there was another Hellboy movie coming out, and to be honest, I didn't really give a shit either.
Yeah, what is it? The Wonky Man or something?
I don't know.
Wonky Door. I can't remember, but yeah, it's coming, and we'll see. I guess I've seen people say it looks more faithful, so I don't know.
Yeah, like a gigantic turd. You can only hold it in for so long before it comes out. Zebra Key says, if Amazon just advertised Rings of Power as a non-addictive sleep aid, the viewership and ratings might skyrocket. I would say so, yeah. It's a good idea. Your boy Fargoth says, in true Tolkienian fashion, these actors and scriptwriters need to fight in wars. Those that survive will get humbled and learn storytelling. Yeah. I'm in favor of that, actually. Sinami, for all the panel, which is 2 in this case, top 3 games of the last 5 years. I mean, Ragnarok's probably going to be up there, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be one for me. Fuck, it's the thing. I've played so many games, and I'm like, now I'm struggling to remember which ones come from which years. And Lies of P was pretty high up for me. I really enjoyed that.
Resident Evil 2 remake. That's within the past 5 years, isn't it?
Is it? It might be.
Oh, I think so. Hold on.
Time isn't linear to me.
Yeah. 2019, so I'm just in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what are the? There's got to be some really big ones I'm just completely missing.
Hold on, then. See if I can look it up by year.
I'm almost trying to think about it by stream. It's like I must have. I try to keep track of some new stuff as I go.
Someone's listed Red Dead Redemption 2, but that can't be within the past 5 years. Let's see. Okay, so if I go to, let's see. So there's Elden Ring, Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, I remember that re-release. Well, it's like a remake, isn't it?
Yeah, but it seems to have gone on a completely different path. It's like it's like a prequel or something. It's a bit of a weird one. Resident Evil Village. Nah, that wasn't so great. Don't know if I've ever talked to you about that one, actually.
I was not fond of it.
No, not compared to with 7. I like that a lot more. Last of Us Part 2. Yay!
I love the Dead Space remake. I thought that was awesome.
That was good fun, yeah. Ghost of Tsushima, that was another good one. I like that. And yeah, I enjoyed Stellar Blade. I actually really liked Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as well. I know it gets a lot of shit, but that got me emotionally invested. And it takes a lot to do that these days. Desmond Lopke says, thoughts on Boys Season 4? I loved it a lot. Did you love it, Mauler?
I'm trying to remember how much of it I even saw. I think I saw the one episode for context of what was happening with the dungeon for the Totally Not Batman character. But you know, I really liked Season 1 and saw the potential being more than able to go forward, even with all of its flaws. Season 2 fucking annihilated my interest in the boys.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. Yeah, I'm kind of checked out of that show at this point. Alan Fernandez says, "Hey all, love you all. Keep it on." All right, thank you. Mr. Beton says, Galadriel trying to pull an Aragorn at Am and Hen must be the worst action scene I've seen in a long time. The orcs teleporting all over the place. Everybody's retarded. Theo, the Lord of Pelargir, etc. Yeah, it's shit. That was a terrible, terrible action scene. Like, I can't believe how slow the action was. How many stuntmen just had to stand there, like, waiting for her to hit her mark so they could run in. It was clunky as fuck.
Exploding lantern. It's good shit.
Yeah. Napalm lanterns. James Moore says, the female Space Marine is from a show, not the game. I hear the show is all right. Okay. I'm actually going to play the game, Space Marine 2. Apparently it looks quite good.
On stream?
I might stream it, yes. Play it from the PS5, though. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah. King of Moorland says making the rings out of order was a huge mistake. They have to change everything now to fit like a lie covering another lie. It's doomed to fail. Yes. Yeah, that's the ripple effect when you make story choices like that. James Evans says, all of these tonally deaf song choices make Faith of the Heart seem like a masterpiece nowadays. I remember that from Enterprise. Mr. Silver says, I see the rewriting Ripley pod vid on you all. YouTube replied, yeah, they didn't get their own way, did they? Ben Mangary says, the female Astartes is from the show, not the game. Yeah, I think we misconstrued that one. Kevin O'Neill says, the irony is that Book Galadriel would still mop the floor with Galadriel from Rings of Power. Yeah, I mean, easily. Like, one of them's 6'4", the other one's like 5'2" or something. Warwick Dwarver says, Ierion cuts Sauron's ring and Isildur takes it from her. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be something like that. Can't have him win. Dangerous Species, please use the proper name for the real Quim Shady. I like that one.
It's so obviously going to fucking happen because when they write it, they'll be like, well, of course Galadriel would be at the Battle of the Last Alliance. And it's like, well, but she wasn't. It's like, yeah, but she obviously would be.
Yeah.
And you're like, ugh.
She was on a classified mission. All right. No one knew.
Yeah, it never made it into the books because just shut up.
Or you know what will happen, right? Because apparently, from what I remember in the books, like when they actually did defeat Sauron, like it was Isildur and Elendil and Elrond. They were the only people around. Like I think everyone else either got killed or the fighting had moved to a different part of the battlefield. And I bet you she's there and she defeats him and she's like, you can't tell anyone about this. No one must know that I was here. And then she'll just like, fuck off. Like, oh, it's sickening. It really
but before she goes, she's like, and you will destroy the ring. That is the thing to do. And I'm telling you to do it. And that is I am at peace now. I'm a happy and good character. You better do it, Isildur. I trust you.
I'm trusting you with this one task, human man. And you won't fuck this up, will you? No. Yeah. Shakalaka King says, have you heard of the Project Dragon fiasco? It was a really neat looking game that got canned a few weeks before it was announced. Really sad story. I've not heard of that one. Sorry.
No.
Our Rob or Ross, that's a nice Red Dwarf reference there, says Jason Momoa in the Minecraft trailer. It's Aquaman. Yeah, fucking hell. I don't know what career arc that guy is on, but it's a strange one.
Definitely a moment of like, are you okay, buddy? And then you reply, I'm rich. And you're like, okay.
Good enough. Gay Carpenter says, Jason did a good job in the show C. It's worth a watch. It's on Apple, so that sucks, but sail the high seas for it. Okay. Simon Ho says, was that diverse picture of Velma, the live-action series? It might as well be. It's basically any TV show these days. When you look at the composition of it, it's like that's pretty much everything in modern entertainment. Jay Smart says, a hopeful game to keep an eye on seems to be Forever Winter. Fundog Studios recently made a video taking shots at the industry's bad practices. Well, good. Keep an eye out. Albert Nader Retro says, the unstoppable Boogernaut. His only vulnerability is his tipples. Imagine you had to shoot him there, like they were glowing red or something.
Flapping.
Moving on. Yarmouth says, Drinker, Lieutenant Titus needs you on the front lines for Ultramar and the Emperor, Space Marine 2. Well, Drinker will answer the call. Hasselhappa says, Hail Drinker, Mauler and Co. Arcane Season 2 trailer dropped 8 hours ago. Still looking good. Fingers crossed it continues to deliver and gets all the successes and accolades that it deserves. I'll keep my fingers crossed too.
It is the most please be good, please be good, please be good I have felt in a long time.
It's nice that you're invested. That's where we want to be. 427 Arbox says, as a connoisseur of large women, I can assure you that these prog slop character designs aren't for us either. Beauty itself is their enemy because it brings joy and they want to make the world miserable. Yes, that figures. Logan Johnson, any of you guys seen the first female Adeptus Custodes clip online? I just saw it on Mr. H's channel and whoa, I'll let you be the judges. Yes, we have seen it. That jawline, it is respectable. Colas says, KK announced her retirement today. Mike Zero said so. Yeah, of course. Also, a vampire bit Chuck Norris. The vampire then turned into a Chuck Norris. I mean, he should consider himself lucky in that case. Driving ahead. Galadriel was shown to be flawed in the show and she is captured after girl bossing. Please stop with hating on the show for vague political reasons. I mean, if you want to look up a list of reasons to dislike Galadriel as a character, like, we can give you several hours worth here. You know, she is a joke, especially when you consider how like well portrayed she was in the books and the movies. This is a pale imitation.
I hated shows for the same fucking reasons that the show is bad since I was very young, and so I don't even like politics isn't coming into it necessarily. It's just horrifically badly written.
Yep. Lewis Hand. Grums, are you aware of the fact that Sega... Oh, yeah, we did that on the stream the other night. Yarmouth says, the orcs being good was something that Blizzard started years ago. Yeah, I heard about that. Bartek Smick says, have you seen the original Uruk-hai? What a joke. I mean, are we talking the Uruk-hai from the movies, or... I assume so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume he means, like, yeah, the orcs that we have now are like a joke compared to them. Yeah, those were just pure killing machines. Edgar Marcano says, so stoked that Space Ice is on. Have fun, boys. Oh, we did. Thank you. Yeah. Jander says, hail panel. Are you ever able to just watch a show or movie, or is the critic always active now? I.e., can you sit down with the critical kiddos and watch a cartoon, or does your brain just keep going? Nah, I can turn it off. I can just become dumb and watch something and just enjoy it for what it is.
It doesn't factor in that way for me. If I'm with like a kid watching, let's say it's something I'm trying to think of like something else. Toy Story 4 is a good example. I really hate that movie. But if a kid is watching it and I'm in the room, I'm not going to fucking be like, hey, do you know why this is bad?
Don't you want to ruin it for him though?
And then if someone said like, well, so you not having fun? I'd be like, it's just not. Like I can, there's plenty to appreciate in terms of just looking at the animation or talking with people in the room or watching the kid enjoy it so much. You know, like there's life is full of all kinds of experiences. I don't need to pretend I'm enjoying it or anything. That doesn't really factor in.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's less about pretending to enjoy it. It's more just like, say I know I'm not reviewing something, and I don't necessarily, like, I don't have a strong investment about it being good or whatever. Like, sometimes I'm able to just switch the brain off and not really analyze it too much and just be like, it's just a thing I'm watching. So it's okay for me. Mega Spidey Man. Favorite Lex Luthor and why him? Thoughts on Nicholas Hoult playing him in the new film? So, I don't know. I mean, is it passe to say like Gene Hackman? I liked his take on Lex Luthor.
I'm trying to think because there's not like a crazy amount that I'm familiar with, but I liked his name was Michael Rosenbaum, right? From at his best, being Lex Luthor in Smallville. Though I think
so, yeah.
That role got a bit crazy the more the seasons went on because they weren't sure exactly what to do with the character. But like I said, at his best, I quite liked him. And the funny thing, of course, is he played him young, so it's like he's always ready to go. Technically, I'm playing him older anyway. But and then Nicholas Hoult, I don't know what I'm going to be getting with that one. I'm willing to give him a chance, though.
Yeah, that's all you can ask, really. Chaos Raptor says, hail to you guys, but weren't you supposed to be cancelled today? I know, right? And yet here we are. Also, Crimson Chin arrived in Warhammer 40k yesterday. Yay, we're all excited for that. Chris Donahue says, orcs were always a force of nature, an expression of elemental destruction given dark form. They were not family men. I know, right? It's crazy ideas. Griffnizzle. Jumping the gun a bit, but wanted to get my 2 cents in as it might miss the rest of the show. Terminator Zero is trash. Future girl boss fist fights a T-800 and wins. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. So I haven't seen the ending of it, but like I've seen her take it on, and there's, as Mauler and I were discussing this before we went live, there's definite plot armor at play here. She doesn't generally beat it, though. It's more like she just survives and then runs away from it.
I wish it would done better, more clever shit instead of more lucky. Like even in the opening scene, he fires like a minigun or whatever the fuck it is, and he just misses every single shot. And it's like,
yeah. Do we put some of that down to like the animation? Just I don't know.
It does feel like the format
slightly clunky.
tends to be lending itself more to that. But I mean, there are repercussions in the show of, this is happening and this is happening, therefore this happens. But you'll find a lot more of them closer to the end of the season. I just wasn't hugely into her character. I just didn't find much there to be interested in. I don't think she's bad. I was more interested in obviously the dad and just other elements of the show. But I mean, you haven't seen the whole thing yet. She does have another fight with it, and it doesn't end well for her.
I ruined it.
Not necessarily. I'm going to leave that there, and you'll, I think you'll still be surprised.
Okay. But yeah, I think they probably could have shown, because there is moments of vulnerability with her, but I might have suggested a little bit more. Like, you got the impression with someone like Kyle Reese that he was a damaged individual.
Yes.
And very strung out, very desperate, and like I didn't quite get the same from her, not as much as I might have liked. Tupocalypse says, "Yo, Drinker and Mauler, you should cleanse your palate from watching Rings of Power by watching a good show like Slow Horses. New series just started airing." So yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Slow Horses. Never quite got round to watching it yet, but again, it's one of those ones that if I've got the time, I will watch. But there is still good stuff on. Brandon Calhoun, we need a happy hour or Drinker watches Time Cop with Space Ice. I am definitely up for that. Jay Fraser, hail gents, Atari Game Over documents the excavation of ET game cartridges in New Mexico. It's an excellent documentary on Atari's history. I've watched that actually, yeah, and it's pretty cool stuff. They really did find them, and I think they brought in the game's original designer to be there for the sort of ceremony of uncovering it, which is pretty cool. He got quite choked up at it. Yeah, it's an interesting little footnote in gaming history. Sodaman says, if you see Genevieve O'Reilly talk about the Star Wars projects that she's in compared to the Yas person, it shows how these newer actors don't have any love for craft of acting or the source material. Yeah, for a lot of them, it's a platform, really. Winton Spiller says, Rings of Power is just embarrassing. There's perfect examples of original Lord of the Rings stories, like Lord of the Rings The Third Age and Lord of the Rings War in the North. Or Lord of Ring Gollum, actually, when you think about it. So, there's good stuff out there.
Later on a really great game they could make called Lord of Ring Waldrig, and you run around on walls as Waldrig.
Sure.
The way to go.
Dark Side of Life says, Drinker, have you seen the reviews for Joker 2? You know it's not a good sign when IGN gives it 5 out of 10. Yeah, I've heard it's not great. Still got a few weeks before it comes out, but people don't seem to be loving it so far. You heard much at all?
On what, sorry?
Joker 2.
Oh, man, it's been reviewed pretty poorly by people, and I don't know what to make of that, considering the first one was. So it's just, that's it. I guess we'll have to wait a bit longer before we can find out, maybe from more trusted sources, what we're to expect. But what can you say? We've already talked for several episodes about the worries of the choices they've made. We shall see. I can't imagine it having anywhere near the success of the first one.
No, that was lightning in a bottle, really. Cunning Flop says, do you remember A Knight's Tale, my guilty pleasure? I do remember it, and I remember rewatching it for EFAT movies. So yeah, it was quite fun. Lucas Vidos says, TOTK is the best example of You Do You game. What is that one? TOTK.
TOTK. The old time king.
Hold on. Sometimes, like, abbreviations, you get it instantly, and other times, let's see. Tears of the Kingdom?
Oh, that's probably it, yeah.
Legend of Zelda? Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah. Solid Gold CEO says, it's crazy they act like Star Wars is a tiny franchise ruined by nerds. The fact is, one of the biggest IPs in history can't get an audience on a global platform big enough to keep a TV show going. It's kind of tragic, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Clark Stringer, the goal for the gaming industry seems to have shifted from making good products to funneling as much money as possible to the C-suite. Yeah, it's funny how that works. Off the cover, if you're not too drunk, come and check out my Thirsty Thursdays live stream at 7 p.m. today. Well, there you go. Bit of a plug there. Yarmouth says Boogie298 coming at you through the power of the tipples. And they are powerful indeed.
They are.
Albert Nada Retro. Why assume that Skynet is evil? Skynet is a computer program and reached the logical conclusion that humans suck and need to be removed to save the planet. I think there's so much you could do with Skynet and its motivations. I honestly, you get an element of that with Terminator Zero, but it's like a different AI that you're kind of conversing with. I'd love to see like some kind of conversation with Skynet itself. Why are you actually doing this? What do you want?
Well written as well.
Yeah, I think there's like,
as I mentioned, Skynet has popped up as a voice, like a talk-toable person, and some other stuff that's not been good.
Yeah. Civi Vortax says Tolkien fans. The day shall come again. Well, hopefully. Jay Fraser, Mr. McMahon, a 6-episode Netflix documentary miniseries on Vince McMahon from the producers of Tiger King will premiere on the 25th. That I'd be tempted to see, actually. There's going to be some wild shit in that. Memeo Life says Ryan Drake film release dates. It's pretty soon, actually. Like we're done with the film. Like it's ready to go. We're going to show it to our backers first, and then it comes out just on the YouTube channel so that people can have a look. So yeah, it shouldn't be more. It shouldn't be more than a week or a couple of weeks, I would imagine. But yeah, it's the film is ready. Shakalaka King says, watch Pluto, solid one and done season of anime. All right, Pluto. Jay Fraser, the Hulk Hogan biopic directed by Todd Phillips and starring Chris Hemsworth has been cancelled. Which wrestler do you want to see a biopic from? Oh, maybe Bret Hart. I think that'd be quite an interesting one because that guy had quite the career. And, you know, you've got the sort of tragic arc of like him losing his cousin Owen and, you know, then suffering all these injuries and having a stroke and having to like bounce back from that. And that's pretty good stuff for a movie. Puke Bucket says, I don't know how you guys like T2, but Jar Jar Binks would have fit right into that character ensemble in that crap movie. It was made to sell action figures at Kmart. T1 was a real sci-fi movie. I mean, that's a bold take. I'll say that.
You know what else was made to sell fucking toys? Like all of Star Wars. That doesn't make it not good. I mean, T2 is one of the greatest movies of all time, as far as I'm concerned. I don't mind entertaining arguments like this. This applies to Aliens too, right? The nature of it kind of changing the mystique / the identity of the franchise for better or worse. I totally understand stuff like that, but the films in and of themselves are fucking masterpieces of scripts, as well as a lot of other filmmaking techniques. You are probably never going to convince me that T2 is a bad film. That's
yeah. That'd be quite the achievement. Albert Nada Retro says, I think Gary and Tommy came to Erica's rescue. Yeah, that was when Steven Seagal wanted to do a love scene with her in Under Siege. I think they advocated that it was a bad idea and it doesn't fit with the script. So, and he was a terrifying monster.
That on top of everything else, you know?
Yeah. That was when he was arguably at the height of his career, so not an easy guy to challenge, I suppose, when he wanted something. Moon Dude says, I know people are always recommending stuff, but do you guys... sorry, I've got 2 more for you. Thank goodness that you're here. It's a new game from my UKers. Think like a point-and-click adventure set in an English town. And 2, Over the Garden Wall, a cartoon mini-series that has immaculate fall and Halloween vibes starring Elijah Wood and Christopher Lloyd. It's pretty good. Couple of actors right there. You don't hear much about Elijah Wood these days, actually.
Not really.
He seems to be starring in very small things. But yeah, Over the Garden Wall. Jay Fraser, after KK leaves Lucasfilm, can we start a petition for an exclusive Skinemax miniseries about the origin of Leia's gold bikini, starring Salma Hayek, Haley Atwell, Alexandra Daddario, Anna de Armas, and Sydney Sweeney? Just an idea. I think that's a good idea, really, isn't it? I'd go with that.
Yeah, sure.
Mage Leader, here's a pitch. Predator in the Korean War. Put him in the Battle of Chosin and try a freezing cold setting. Could play with the heat vision a ton. Wouldn't that make things too easy for him, though, if everything's cold?
We'll figure out how to nerf him.
Big Benny Boy, have you heard about the Yakuza show? The director has told the actors to not play the games and said they're going to tell the story their own way. They also said that they're removing the humor. Yeah, telling your actors not to get involved with the source material doesn't seem like a winning strategy. It's never really played out well before. Adam Wofford says they could have a Predator movie about the last Japanese soldier who was still hiding out in the jungle of Southeast Asia. Have him tell the story on his deathbed. That could be cool. Dr. Banzai, sick of George R.R. Martin complaining. Tolkien did so much more in less time. Yeah, and he fought in like World War One, which is more than what battles has George ever fought? He's fought a losing battle against his waistline, I suppose. Griff Nizzle says 30 minutes behind, but Terminator Zero, not a girl boss. Again, she fist fights the T-800 in episode 2 or 3 and doesn't get punched through her freaking stomach. Even manages to push a T-800 down an elevator shaft. What the fuck? Yep, that's not the finest hour of the show. I will agree.
The thing is, like, the way it's formatted in that show, I would go as far as saying it's not really framed in a way that's like, look how badass she is. It's just plot armor. It's so standard. Like, there's male plot armor throughout the show as well. It's the kind of shit where you're just like, ugh, do they not? It's a T-800, man. That thing. The thing I really found to be effective about, especially Terminator 1, if that thing grabs you, it's over.
Well, yeah, it's going to crush your skull.
And it's fucking annoyed me in almost all the Terminator films subsequent. I remember when I was watching Salvation, it opens with John fighting a T-800 or one of the prior models, and it keeps throwing him. And I was like,
fuck.
I'm
sick of that. Yeah.
You're ruining everything by having it throw him.
It's like the least, because these things are all about efficiency. So like it'll find the most quick and efficient way to kill a person, which will usually mean like punching right through their chest or like caving their skull in or whatever if they don't have guns at their disposal. And yeah, this one just chooses to pick him up and throw him across the room, and then it has to walk over to him and grab him again. It's like, why are you doing this? I get that it just looks visually impressive from a dramatic point of view, but it's completely nonsensical. There should be ways to combine those two ideas into like a cohesive action scene that makes sense.
It makes him so much scarier in a sense where you're just like, do not let it fucking touch you. It's already bad enough with having guns, but cannot be within like a meter of a Terminator or you're dead.
Because this show kind of suffers from that for every character, even like extras and stuff who are just like random civilians getting killed by it. Like it's still, it takes a few seconds to say strangle someone to death or break their neck or like put their head through a window or something like that. It doesn't just like grab their head and rip it off their shoulders like it should be able to do. And I don't know if that's just like the studio not quite understanding the extent of Terminator's powers, or like they're going on a different tack with it, or what.
It's not an uncommon problem for writing. It's been one forever. Plot armor it has its name because it's one of the most common tropes of bad writing. It pops up all the time. You want to have the shock of the thing, but you also don't want to have the consequences of the thing.
Yeah. Lost says, I wonder if the Acolyte cancellation leak was to cheer or someone tried to drum up pressure on Disney to try and save it. I mean, mission not accomplished in that case. Griff Nizzle says, the dude's conversations with Kokoro are the most banal Berkeley grad conversations about humans are bad. Okay, fuck this show. I think we know where you stand on it then. OMG puppies, I can't think of a good comment, but my dog wants to give you £10. Well, thank you, dog. Appreciate it. And Harriman says, Helldivers 2 is going to last because the temporary audience that wants no nerfs and a broken game will move on and the core players will stay. Well, I mean, we'll see. It's lost like 90% of its player base, I think, which is pretty disastrous.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just feels like that game fumbled it. Like the bad publicity around it and making it like obligatory to sign up for the PlayStation Network and shit. Like, created so much bad press for it when it didn't need it. And it's never quite recovered. But yeah, it was a fun game to play. It really was. I like the premise. Didn't take itself very seriously, but just gave you all the tools you needed to have lots of fun. And yeah, shame. That though was the last of the super chats. So we made it to the end. Another last orders completed, and well, that's closing time at the bar, I would say. So thank you to everyone who sent us those super chats, and we will catch up with you on the next open bar, which will be on Thursday. But for now, from me and Mauler, that's all we got for today. So go away now.
Bye.